for the year 2023. And I'm really glad that I can see a lot of people. So I want it to be this session to be so interactive. So in the chat window, you can just drop a hi, drop a comment, drop something in the chat window so that I can know the people that are here with us. Yeah, I can see Isiaka Kukwala. Thank you very much for joining. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. Please, people, can you drop something in the chat so I can know the people that we have? Just drop a hi, just drop an hello in the chat window. Hi, Joseph. Nice to have you here. I promise. Nice to have you here. We're so glad to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, Chigoze. I can see you. Idet, thank you for joining. Titilokbe, thank you so much for joining. Hi, Queen Ed. Thank you so much. Hi, Mary. Thank you so much. Nice having you here. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. It's a pleasure. Hi, Adekunle. It's a pleasure to have you. So for our housekeeping rule, so this session will actually be recorded and it will be made available for future viewing. And when you're not speaking, just ensure your mic is actually muted. Then if you have questions, you can always drop your questions in the Q&A sessions. And we have a Twitter page at NGM365. You can follow us there. Then our YouTube channel where we keep all our videos there. So we have the link to be shared also with us. Then if you have any feedback at all, we will be sharing the feedback link after each of the training for you to give us a feedback areas where we can, do better, improve on, and things that you're expecting from the community. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for joining us. So in today's session, we'll be having our first trainer on board. So the person is actually Jeremiah Solomon. A little bit about him. He's a motivated technology guru, adept at improving our business and IT systems, availability, reliability, security, and scalability. His experience in directing talented teams to create and deploy cutting-edge technologies to streamline processes and increase productivity, operational support, service level agreement, and customer service management. He's a Microsoft certified trainer. He's an Azure expert. He's also a Teams expert and an enterprise administrator expert. So this enterprise, in case you don't know, this enterprise administrator is actually the IS badge. That's the IS certification for Microsoft 365. Is a 3-star certification. So you're actually in the hand of the right person. So I want to welcome Solomon to take the floor as he introduces to Microsoft 365. Hi, Solomon.
Yeah, thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you everyone for taking your time to join us today in the Nigeria M365 community. So today, we are going to be starting a series, right? This community is out here to help those that are trying to find their way into the cloud and also understanding M365, right? So starting with today's training, I have to be very fast because I don't want to take a lot of your time and I want to keep it as simple as I can so you can understand exactly where I'm going to. So for a start, I just have to share my screen, right? And let me just share my screen real quick. So once, oh, not my camera. Yeah. Okay. So Emmanuel, can you confirm you can see my screen and you're seeing, yep.
Yeah, I can see your screen, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what we want to do, I know today we are talking about M365, but before I start explaining what M365 is all about, there are some fundamental things you need to have knowledge about. And one of those things is what we call cloud computing. So talking about cloud computing, I know there are a lot of definitions out there, but when you think of organizations that have their data centers, their on-premises IT infrastructure, they tend to move these IT infrastructures they have to a data center that is being managed by cloud provider like Microsoft. So what cloud computing does is when they migrate or move their infrastructure to these data centers that are managed by cloud provider, they can actually access this IT infrastructure over the internet on pay-as-you-go basis. So if you look at this definition from Microsoft sites, I would be dropping these links for you because I'll be using some of these links, and then you can always refer to this link. So what's the definition Microsoft is telling us here? It says simply put.
I Solomon, sorry, can you zoom in? Can you zoom in so
Oh,
that people can
okay, okay,
see?
okay. Yeah, let me just do that like real quick.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. I hope you can see this now.
Yeah,
Is
much
it
Yeah,
better?
better.
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
better.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So simply put, cloud computing is the delivery of computing service. Now, when we talk about computing service, right, this includes servers. For most people that are familiar with on-prem office, or maybe you've worked in an environment where you have to just go into your IT department units, and you probably see servers there. They have all the server storage, database, network, and analytics and intelligence, right? All these cloud computing services are now being accessed over the internet. And now when you're accessing this, you're accessing it based on pay-as-you-go service. So that's basically what cloud computing is, like in a simple way to explain cloud computing. And if you're looking at the top benefits of cloud computing here, you can see the cost, right? Now you don't have to pay to get all those servers. You're not paying for your rent for extra room that you'll be keeping your racks. You're not buying all this equipment. I can just say, okay, I need a server. Traditionally, if you need a server, you probably go and get a laptop, buy that has maybe the RAM that can serve you, the storage space and all of that. Now you don't have to buy all of that um, resources. You can just pay for them, and you pay for what you're using. Speed, yes, it is actually fast. You can, and it's flexible also. Then when we are talking of global scale, that's one of the benefits: productivity, performance, reliability. So I don't want to take my time in going in depth in all this definition, because we have like a short time and we have a lot to cover. So if we go to the next, we have types of cloud computing. So there's one thing I always try to make, one point I try to make anytime I am training people on cloud computing, because when you hear people talking of cloud computing, you would also hear people telling you deployment models, right? And when you're asking somebody cloud computing deployment model, you see them, there is a kind of shift, like what is types of cloud computing I know. So when you hear the deployment model, it's still the same thing like types of cloud computing. So if we're talking of types of cloud computing, we have the public cloud. So the public cloud is owned by a third party, just like Microsoft, and then you can choose to pay for any resource that you want to access over the internet. You can go there, pay for subscription, and you can have access to whatsoever you want. The it is made open for everyone. You can always go and pay for resources you want. We have the private cloud. The private cloud, some big business, they have their own data centers that they manage themselves. The infrastructure and everything there, they are the ones that are handling it. It is not by a third party. And sometimes some business still go and pay organization like Microsoft for a private cloud. Microsoft would give you that provision, but the data center and the things stored in that particular data center would just be strictly for your organization. So we have the private cloud. Then we also have the hybrid cloud. The hybrid cloud here, when we are talking about the hybrid cloud, it just simply means the combination of both. You're combining both the public and the private cloud. Now, when somebody is asking was how do you combine both? For example, you have an organization and then you have a lot of information, data that are within your organization. You can choose to keep some in your private cloud based on the compliance that you have for that particular information or resources, and then you can push some to the public cloud. So when you're working in an organization where you have private cloud and then you still have some of your resources on the public cloud. That's a hybrid settings that you're using in that organization. So there's one that is not here, just in case you hear about it, is community cloud. So community cloud is like, let me say, a subset of the private cloud where we have different organizations sharing common resources on a particular cloud service. So we have different organizations, but they are the only ones that have access to that particular cloud platform. So that's where you hear about the community cloud. So talking about types of cloud, we also have what they call types of cloud services. Now, when you hear about cloud services, another way you could hear people talking about this and try as much as possible so it doesn't throw you off is when they say service model. If they ask you what is cloud service model, you don't need to really shake about it. It's still the same thing that we are about to talk now that they are asking you about. So when we are talking about the types of cloud services, we have IaaS. So if you see IaaS here, I know some people was IaaS. Now they have the full meaning for each of those words there. So, but when you get into the cloud, you'll probably be calling it IaaS, just the way I'm calling it. So we have IaaS, PaaS, serverless, and SaaS. So I'll be explaining each of these real quick also. So just like the name, infrastructure as a service. So when an IT organization or a company is going to rent IT infrastructure from a cloud provider, the service they are actually getting is the infrastructure as a service, because as the name sounds, infrastructures. If you look at the infrastructures that you're renting, you'll probably need a server. You're going to rent a server, virtual machine, storage, network, operating system. Now you go to the cloud provider and tell them that you want to rent the services. You're paying for these particular services. So what this simply means is that when you're paying for the servers, the virtual machine storage, it simply means you'll be managing the storage yourself, you'll be managing the operating system, you'll be patching your operating systems and everything here that you're probably paying for. So once we are talking about the cloud, there are different services, right? And one of them is this IaaS. And when you're dealing with IaaS, this is exactly what you will be renting and what you'll be managing, because there are some things in the cloud that you would be the one managing, while the service provider will be the one managing the other parts of it for you. So looking at this now, IaaS, right? If you probably are using this service now, if you're going for this, you will know that you're the one handling this, managing these services on your own end. The next one we have is platform as a service. So now, after you probably must have heard about infrastructure as a service, what if now you don't want to be managing the servers, like you don't want to be patching the OS and all of that, you just want to go and build something? Yes. So platform as a service gives you the ability to go to pay for a particular cloud service where you will just be the one doing the developing, testing, and all of that on. You're just building your software and putting it on the machine. You're not thinking about the servers that is running it. You're not thinking about the OS and all of it. So most times you will see that web developers, most times this is the platform you will see them using. And if you can see from this definition also, platform as a service refers to cloud computing services that supply on-demand environments for developing. So you're just going there to develop, testing, delivering, and managing software applications. So when you're using this kind of service, you don't care about the operating system, how it is being patched or licensed or all of that, because the service provider will be taking care of this particular aspect for you. So if we move to the next one, which is serverless. Serverless is something you'll probably not be hearing a lot of people talk about, but serverless is built on top of, is more like PaaS also, but now it has to do with you just using specific, you're narrowing down what exactly you're using. That's more like you just go there, you're not still managing the servers and storage, you're just probably running functions. And when you're using Azure Function, which is one of under the serverless computing, you just run functions and they charge you anytime the function is running, and every other thing like the servers and the rest of it, you don't care about that. All you're just doing, you're just running your functions on the platform, and your function is doing exactly what you want it to do. So that's where the serverless computing comes in. So if we're talking about software as a service, so this is where we would be sitting down today on, right? So we are talking of M365, and this is one of the example of software as a service which is being owned by Microsoft. So if you look at software as a service, right, they say this software as a service is a method for delivering software application over the internet. Now, when we say software as a service, it simply means we have people that buy IT, that pay for rent IT infrastructures. We have people that also go and build without thinking about the servers or the underlying operating system and all of that. Now we have a software where you just go and buy. Now you don't care about how the code for the software is being written. You don't care about how they are patching the software. You don't, it's not your business. You don't care about updating the software. You're not responsible for updating the software. You just go pay for the application, and you most of the applications is just based on license. You just do the login over the web portal, subscribe for the application, and get the license you want, and then you start using amazing features that the software has, just like M365. M365 will be talking about, we'll see the features that we have in M365 and how it can be very productive in a working environment. So that's where software as a service falls under. So now I've been able to just explain to you what the types of cloud computing, which I also said is the deployment model. And I also tried to explain to you the services, which is also the service model. So if you can recall what I said under the types of cloud computing, I spoke about the private, the public, and the hybrid cloud. And remember, there's also one community cloud. You won't be hearing that a lot, but it's always good to just know there's something like that. Then under the service model, I spoke about the IaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, PaaS, and I also spoke about the software as a service. Now that's SaaS. So after talking about all these, now let's look at what the Microsoft Cloud is all about. Now look at the Microsoft Cloud here. The Microsoft Cloud, it provides you with a lot of solutions that would help you meet your business requirements. So if you look at this overview, I think I need to hit this again. So we have the Microsoft Cloud. Now, if you look at the Microsoft Cloud, somebody will probably that know Microsoft, or some people you hear them say, is it not Office Professional you're talking about, Word documents? Like, so it is actually beyond that, right? If you look at this definition, we have Microsoft Cloud products and solutions are industry leaders on their own. Yes, but they are even better when used together. So Microsoft Cloud, there are lots of products that Microsoft have on the cloud, and you can choose to connect with anyone or start using anyone. We have the Azure, we have the Dynamics 365, we have Microsoft Security, we also have Microsoft 365, which is what we're about to talk today. Now, if you look at the Microsoft Cloud, you'll see what it is built around, right? So this is just like a view of everything. So not to waste our time here, I will just go into what we have today, which is one of those products in the Microsoft Cloud, which is M365. So I think I'll just hit my other slideshow that I have here real quick. Let me come here. So I just did that now. So this is my slideshow. Yeah. So what I'll try to see talk about, right? I think I already spoke about this. I'll try to see how to cover this topic. So yeah, and let me just move to the next one. What is M365? So yeah, so this is M365. M365 is a cloud-based service that brings together the best-in-class productivity apps from Office 365 with advanced device management, intelligent security, and innovative online services. So M365 is a SaaS application that Microsoft have, and it has amazing features inside it. Previously, you would hear people talking about Office 365. Now, Office 365 was the previous name, but now we have M365, and Office 365 is now inside of M365. It gives you the ability to be productive in your working environment. And aside from being productive, we have security that you can get from it. And there are lots that you can get from it. Collaboration, a lot of stuff you can get from M365. So, but let's see what the next slide have. So we say M365 drives productivity in the cloud. Yeah. So when we are talking about productivity with M365, you can be more productive from anywhere and wherever you are with M365. So unlike traditionally, when we probably have most people that are familiar with Office Professional, where you're probably typing something, and when you're done typing it, you're looking for how to attach it and send to someone, right? And when you do that, you probably tell the person, okay, correct it, send it back to me and all. Now with M365, you can easily collaborate. You can access your documents from your phone, from any location where you are. You can add people to collaborate with you on that document, and you can just do stuff seamlessly. You don't have to go through the pain of maybe looking for how to bundle your files, copy it on a flash drive and send it to someone else. It just made work more productive. Then we also have secure your organization with technology you can trust through Microsoft M365. So now I'm talking about how you can connect with M365, right? And share documents, collaborate, and all of that. It's not just about the collaboration. Now, M365 has securities measures that have been built in it. So during this series, when we are going forward, you would get to see some of the securities and features that it has. You can actually protect devices that are connected to your organization. You can manage your endpoints. You can also create policies on your documents. You can, in terms of compliance, there's what they call DLP, which you will probably learn as we are going on. You can create data loss prevention policies on your documents. You can choose to have litigation holds on your mailbox. There are a lot of stuff you can actually do in terms of security with M365. And then we have another point here, which is get one cost-effective solution with M365. So for me, thinking about M365, if you look at it, what in terms of cost, you don't have to be buying add-ons here from another vendor, paying for this from another vendor, paying. You have everything all in one license. You just have to pay for a license, and then you're getting a lot of productivity applications and stuff that you can do within your organization. So you don't just have to be paying for different tools or technology you need and looking for how to integrate them together for a particular user. It has saved you time for integration, saved you the cost for paying for um, multiple tools, and then everything, you just get it in one. So that's one of the this thing, productivity, when we are talking about M365. So yeah, they say from the slide here, you can see I said M365 helps your organization meet the needs of workers. So if we're talking about hybrid, right? Hybrid work simply means sometimes you can choose to work um, from home. Sometimes you can even choose to work remotely, and then you're getting your work done. So the next part you can see, we are talking about signing. So for signing, we have what we call MFA, which is multi-factor authentication. With M365, you can actually secure your user identity. We have conditional access. We have mod, multi-factor authentication. We have a lot you can actually do. If you keep learning more with this whole stuff we are learning, you can always go to the Active Directory side in the M365 admin portal, where you can even choose to use identity governance. You can actually protect people in your organization and all of that. So manage your hybrid workers device from the cloud with security settings. Yes, you can actually do this. So I spoke about this earlier. You can actually manage devices that are connected to your organization. Then just be just as collaborative and productive with online meetings, chats, share workspace, and tasks. Yes, you can do this. When I talk about some of the apps in M365, you will see that we can do a lot of these in terms of collaboration while using M365. So let's see the next what we have here. So these are like the basic apps, although I will show you one website. That's Microsoft website, not one website. It is Microsoft website. You go there and you'll see a lot of these apps. So now most people, when you tell them about M365, if they are not probably thinking about the what documents they know, they'll probably be thinking of just this. There are a lot more. So, but these are some of the apps out there. I would open a website now to show you. So when you look at this one, applications here, they actually help you increase productivity in terms of Teams. With Teams, you can actually collaborate, chat, and all of that. We have Word documents. You can use it to create Word, you can process Word, type documents, share it with your colleague, and all of that. We also have Excel for those that are doing statistics or accounts. You can actually use the Excel is also one of the apps you get in M365. We also have Outlook for accessing your mailbox, sending emails. You still have calendars there. You can choose to set reminders or set meetings and all of that. Then we have the OneDrive. So this is OneDrive. So I don't know, look, if you look at this, right? Okay, not this. This is not aligning with this. So this is Teams. I think I was not, just for those that don't know it, but I'll still show you. This is Word, this is Excel, this PowerPoint. That's the same thing I'm using now. You can see I can use it to present and all of that. Then we have Outlook. Outlook is for exchange, sending emails and all of that. Then we also have OneDrive. The OneDrive is for you, it's like storage for people in your organization. They can store their files and all of it. Then you can see we have OneNote here. You can also um, create notes, like you just create notes and save them on your cloud account. So let's go to the next one. So before we come here, right? Oh, let me just end the show and go to the website I want to. So this same website I'm on, I can just scroll down, and if I come here, this is M365 right at the bottom. So it should take me to M365. Yeah, so this is M365, right? I can see about M365, but this is not where I'm going. So I can come to products, and this is the apps in M365. So I can just click on see all apps. So yes, now I will talk about the license. So, but this is not the time to talk about the license. But if we come to the site here, you see we still have those application I spoke of, right? You can see their names are right under them, but then you can see other applications. We have a lot of applications, right, in M365. There is virtually nothing you want to do right now in terms of working in an organization that you would not find something in M365 that can help you do it. So if you look at this, we have different things. So this is one app here. Let me open this. So this is one of the apps. So you can see we have Microsoft Project, right? So you can see you can actually manage your project with this Microsoft Project. You can set tasks and timeline for the tasks and who will perform the tasks and all of that. You can create projects. So you can come to this site, you will see everything you need to know about this particular one. There are a lot more. I'm not going to cover all of them, but I'm just trying to show you most of the things you can actually do in terms of using M365. So this is for projects. Another one is Planner, right? So if I go to Planner, right, we have the Microsoft Planner, right? So with this, you can actually use it to collaborate on tasks. You can manage tasks, you can create cards, you can assign people to the cards that you're creating. You can do a lot of stuff with the Microsoft Planner. It is still one of the apps you get in M365. So another one I would be going to now. Let me just, although they're on my slide too, but I just want to touch those ones. The next one I can go to is booking. Yeah. So with the booking, you can use it to create appointments, right? You can actually schedule and manage And for management system, you can use it to schedule appointments and manage your appointment. And this, you can do it on your web platform. You just log into your app, open it on the web, and you see. Although these also have calendars like the Outlook, but then this is just meant for booking and organizing everything you need to do, right? So this is for the bookings, which is still one of the apps in M365. Let's still go back again. I want to talk about the last one, and this is to do. We still have Yammer, right? This one is for collaboration. We have a lot of them, and the last one is to do. Yeah. So you can create tags also. You can create tags and strike them out when you're done. All of these is in the M365. So I know a lot of people probably have been hearing about the M365, and the first thing that is coming to your mind is M365. Is it not Microsoft Office Word? No, it's beyond that now. It is now, these are just apps, right? There are other core services that you can actually do in terms of using M365. So some of the core services you can do also in M365, apart from the app, we have like Exchange Online. Now, Exchange Online, previously we had the one for on-premises, but now we have Exchange Online, and that one is in M365. You can create mailbox, manage your user mailbox, get different license for the user mailbox, and also set up mail security. And that is also in the Microsoft M365. We also have another core service in terms of SharePoint. With SharePoint, you can create communication and team sites. You can create internal sites. You can create documents libraries, and you can also share files within your organization. You can save a lot of files on SharePoint online. We have SharePoint, and you can also share files with external organization depending on how your admin configures the SharePoint site. So we have SharePoint sites, we have Teams. Teams, you can use Teams for chatting. This meeting we're having now, we're having these meetings on Teams. You can chat, you can have meeting, you can have a team of people that you're probably working with on a particular project. You would gather those, you can just create a team for the team you're working with. And when you create a team for them, you can also integrate apps to the team's channel that you're creating. And when you integrate those apps, you can collaborate on those apps in the channel, and you can chat. You can also make calls on the team's app, which is one of the core service that we have in M365. And we also have endpoints where you can manage devices that are um, connected to your organization. You can manage what they are accessing and what they can access. So, and also we have the compliance in terms of you can check devices that are not compliant, that are connected to your organization. And what you can as well do, you can also try to see how to block the device, reach out to the person to know why exactly or what is happening. There are a lot of configuration that you can do in M365 admin portal, right? So the next thing I would be doing, I would just go to the licensing part. Let me just hit my slideshow. So for the license, right, we have different license in M365. So I always tell people, when you're coming into M365, you have to, the way learning works, right? If if we have like a child, for an example, when you have a child, they don't just start walking, right? You see, they have to take their time to lie down, understand and enjoy how to roll on the bed. And when they are comfortable with rolling on the bed, they start saying, "Oh, I'm sitting. Let me start sitting." When they are comfortable with sitting, they will now say, "Okay, let me start crawling," and then they can now walk. So most kids, they don't just come and say, "Oh, my mom and my dad, my siblings, they're walking. Why am I lying down? Let me start." Yeah. So when you're coming to M365, or probably you're seeing people talking about different stuffs, right? Try as much as possible not to overtax your brain, right? Just go with the flow till you get to where you want to go. So why I'm saying that is because of license. If you come to Microsoft, you will see license. So, but when you come in here, just put this. If somebody asks you what are the licenses we have in Microsoft M365, you can just say we have the home, the education, Microsoft for business, and Microsoft for enterprise. So this business and enterprise, sometimes you'll be like, why you're saying business, you're saying enterprise. So this, once you have over 300 users, that's when you go for the enterprise license. But what you should just know when we're talking about the license for Microsoft 365, just know that we have home for people, home users, right? People that are just in their house. And inside this home, we still have like personal, family, like if maybe you want to buy for home, right? You now, if you're staying alone, you're a home user, you can probably just buy home license. But what if I have other family members and I want them to enjoy my subscription, right? There's still a license for that under the home. We have education also. So in education, we have for schools, right? Is but now, when you're buying the education, they have sub license inside of it. You'll be seeing A5 and the rest of it. So don't get confused. They are still under the education. We have for business, right? And when you're buying business, we have premium, standard, basics, all of them. They are inside. Now, all of these licenses, when you're looking at them, they give you the features that you can actually do with them, right? So all of them, you would get to see the features once you want to get a particular license, right? But just know this is how you categorize them. Then we have the enterprise. The enterprise is for the big business people, and that's where you'll be seeing the E5 and E3 license, right? So don't get confused about licensing in terms of M365, although we still have frontline license, we have government. Yeah, you still get some of those license. Probably if you're going through articles, if you're someone that research, don't get confused when you see they're telling me about E5. I heard enterprise. How is E5 coming? Like, what exactly does this do? Yeah, so that E5 is still like is under the enterprise. So you will get to know more when you start playing with the portal, trying to troubleshoot things for yourself, trying to touch one thing or the other by yourself. So once you get to that level, you will start building yourself. So in order for you to start practicing, right, you you have to like create an account with M365. And why I say you have to create an account, if you create that account, all these things I'm telling you, you'll be able to have access to them. So let me just show you what the M365, I have one here. So if I go to office.com, right? Now, office.com me here. So most people that probably work in an organization, you will probably be logging in to office.com and you will see the apps that you have like access to based on what the your IT admin they've configured for your account. So for this account, you will see some of the stuffs I spoke about. I have them here, right? You will see the SharePoint, PowerPoint, OneNote, and all of that. I can click on all apps. I will see the apps I have here. Now, one thing you should also note, I have admin port. There's a menu here for admin, right? So if you are probably working in an organization and you probably log into this portal, you will ask yourself, I can't see admin here. Yes, because you're not working in the IT department. So you see, we have this thing here. So another thing I can do, if I come here now and if I come here and type my apps, yes. If I type my apps, right, what will happen? You see, I can see all of those apps, right? And I can even choose to add apps that I want to. So you will see Power BI for people that are probably doing data analysis and all of that. We have Power Apps. You're building apps with low code or probably no code, and you can also use Power Automate to automate stuffs that are within your organization. You don't have to be doing some stuff manually again. So this is what it looks like. But now if I come to this admin that is always showing me here, if I click on it, I now have access to doing a lot more. I can actually go to compliance, security. So at this point, endpoint manager, I can start controlling things in a higher level where I can be creating users, giving them license, assigning license to them after creating them. If I come here now, let me just do create new user. So I have users in my portal. So if I come to create a new user now, I can just look at the name of the first person here, which is Abraham, right? So if I create this for Abraham and his last name is Ola. So, oh, am I spelling that right? So, yeah, so I think that's correct. So display name would pop up here, and then I can see his username. Depending on where you work, right? They will choose to just say your first name, your surname, dot your first name. So they will just probably say this is going to be your email account. So most people working, you probably get this email in your organization. This will be your organization domain, right? We'll show you how to do all this in other series, how you can add domains and the rest of it. So this particular tenant now, and I just made mention of tenants. Now, when you hear people talking about tenants, when you create an account, an M365 account, that is your tenant now. So just in case you're hearing somebody say M365 tenant, it's the same thing with the M365 software that I'm using here. So just take note about the word tenant. Yeah, it's still the same thing. So if I come here now and click next, right? I can choose your location and I can choose to give you license. So this is the license we are going to be creating now for everyone can create this developer's account. With this developer account, you can use it to practice, create new user. You see what I just did, right? You can actually create your own new user. You would also have access to your um, admin center, for you working, you're not in the IT department, you probably want to understand what's happening here. If you go and try to log into office.com with your organization account, you're restricted from gaining access here. But with developers account, you can use it to learn, practice, and do most of these things. But for the developers account, you can see this is just the license I have access to, which is the M365 E5. E5 is actually a great license, right? But this is for developers, and they removed the audio conferencing, which is still going to give you a lot more. With this license, you can do a lot. A lot, when I mean a lot, you can do a lot with this license, and you'll be getting 25 of it. So if I assign this license to him, I can pick his location, then there are apps here. So when I'm assigning this license, we still have the opportunity to say, okay, I want to give this guy E5 license, but I don't want him to have access to Teams. I just look for Teams. I can untick Teams. That means this guy, he probably has a license that would enable him to use Team, but he cannot use Team because the admin has already taken away the app from him. So you can see most of those apps. I can say, okay, I don't want this guy to access Sway. Sway is for creating new letters and all of that. That's what Sway does. I can choose to say, I'm not giving him access to this. So what that simply means for you working in an organization, if you come here and type my apps here, .microsoft.com, you won't be seeing some of these because they probably took it off from the license they are giving you. So for this Abraham, yeah, he's my friend in this training, and I'm creating an account for him, so I'll give him Teams. I'll give him everything for coming, like everything I can give you, I'll give it to Abraham. So I'm not taking anything from Abraham. Then if I want to send the procedures on how you can log in and all of that, I can choose to always add his email. And if I want to give him an admin right, yeah, I can say, oh, Abraham, like since he's my friend, I will make him. I can't give him what I have. I'm the global admin, so I will just give him something else that is good. So I'll give him Exchange Administrator. What it simply means, anything that has to do with Exchange in this my tenant, Abraham will be handling it. So I still like Abraham. I'll give him another one. I'll give him Teams Administrator or User Administrator. So if you come here, just click on it. You'll see what you can manage. It simply means if Abraham is working in my organization now and is using this my tenant, Abraham will be able to do all this. He will have access to all these admin centers. So he can also create a user if he wants to. If I don't give him this, he won't be able to create a user. He's just going to mind his business. But I don't want to be creating new users, right? I want Abraham to do the work, so I'll give it to him. As my friend, he will also help me. So for user profile, I can give Abraham a title. So I know Abraham is Mr., right? Yeah. So, and I'll still probably making PhD. Yeah, I'll add that to Abraham. His department is now in my IT department. So I will just say tech. Yeah, Abraham is in my tech office. I can say this is the office here. I'm moving into Texas. So he'll be in my Texas office. Abraham phone number, when he comes, I'll give him this phone number. Yeah. So this is the office phone number. His street, I don't know his street. When he resumes, I will ask the HR and all of that. And his location, I already know. He's coming to Texas. So let me just, so I can pick. I'm just showing you that there's a lot you can do. So now I'm doing next, and now you can see the whole stuff, right? So if I click finish now, it's going to show me the password for Abraham. I don't want to click finish now so that somebody doesn't see the password and starts entering Abraham's account. So for security reasons, I won't click finish. But if I click finish now, it will show me the password that has been generated, and I can send it to Abraham. And from the beginning, when I was creating it, I had the option to yeah, from the beginning, you can see require this user to change their password when they sign in. So what this simply means, immediately I send this information and the password to Abraham. If he logs in, he will change his password. The first login he's going to attempt, he will change his password. So I can still send the password to his personal email. I can put his email here. The password will go to his email. So I don't have to do the copying and sending it through WhatsApp or through any other email like, oh, please check in. So he will just get, I'll say, check your email. Your password is there. And Abraham now is part of the team. So I just showed you like a rundown of what M365 can do. And this is just like, I don't think I've even spoken about 10%. You know what I'm saying, 10%. I've not spoken about 2% of what M365 can do. I'm just giving you like a fundamental knowledge, like just, oh, this is how M365 is. You can look at it from the outside. So if you want to come in now, you can start with the developer's account. So the link for the developer's account is my.virtualstudio. I will just drop this link and the procedure to do it. my.virtualstudio.com. Yeah. So this is the
I've
link.
dropped
Yeah.
I've
Emmanuel,
dropped
what you can?
the I've dropped the steps, yeah, in the chat for them
Okay,
to
drop the
see
step.
how to,
Okay.
yes.
So once you come to that link, I already have an account, so I can do this. So what you should note with creating the developer's account is you need to have a Microsoft account. What I mean by Microsoft account, your Gmail can be a Microsoft account. You can just go to create Microsoft account and convert your Gmail to a Microsoft account. Or if you have an Outlook or any email that is related to Microsoft, not your organizational email, like your office email, like anything like Outlook, yeah, you're fine. That's what you can use to create that developer's account. If you go and probably try it with your Gmail now and you're getting errors, yeah, it's because you don't have a Microsoft account. You just need to convert it to a Microsoft account. So you can always just go to create Microsoft account. It's very simple. So create Microsoft account. If you have this create Microsoft account, if I come to this sign in here for Microsoft, so if I try to sign in, I should have, yeah, create one. So if I click on create one right now, create a new account. So with this, you can see, I can just choose to put in my Gmail here, and then I just go next, 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 and start filling it. But if you don't want to go through this process, just go and create an Outlook account, like you're good to go with an Outlook account. So for today, I think I've been able to cover like the fundamentals of what you need to know about M365, what you need to know about cloud computing, and the productivity aspect of M365, and how you can get in with M365, right? And if you probably get in, I already showed you how you could probably go to your admin center and just try to create a user, right? I already, right here now, you see I already hired a user in Texas office. So you can as well hire a user for yourself. Immediately you create one. So for now, so I don't take your time, I've been looking at the time with one eye, I've been gauging it. So somehow I've been fast, somehow I've been coming down. So this is going to be 10 minutes for us to get hold here for like in the next 1 hour. So thank you so much for joining us in this series. More series will be very, very, very interesting. We have amazing people that will be coming online and they will start showing you more about M365. But before the next series, I will just try to advise you, try to get your developer's account so that if the next person is hiring users, giving the user email and all of that, you will just be, okay, this guy is talking about email, let me open mine and start doing the same thing. So you can't do what I'm doing now because you probably don't have the account, but please try to have the account before the next one. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for just sitting in the meeting till the end of the meeting. Thank you so much. Yeah. I think I'm done for now. And MJ and Emmanuel, yeah, you can take over. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Solomon. We are actually excited about the session. For me, I've learned a lot of new things. Just talking about, it's a refresher course for me, and a lot of new things are coming back to my mind as you're talking about the M365 from the cloud itself.